Jacques, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir, Coach.
Let's roll. What do we want to talk about?
Not much.
Huh? I mean, look, it's obviously a big game going on the road playing, one of the best teams in the country, not only the best, the best team in our league statistically speaking, but one of the best teams in the country. So they pose a ton of problems. They're very, 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 very talented. They got great players. They got great coaching. They got a great system. So it'll be a big challenge for us. Large step up in weight class.
I heard your interview this morning. You were talking about being able to operate in chaos and the challenges this atmosphere presents. Can you just kind of talk about those things?
Well, we just hadn't had, Days and Penson are the only two guys that have been on the road in this type atmosphere. We've got a bunch of newer guys, and then, we got some of our guys who played college basketball last year. They just played in front of cardboard cutouts. His family and friends, and you could hear what everybody was saying in there. So it's just going to be a lot. It's a lot different. You know how it is. I mean, the home court advantage is a lot different, and Auburn's got as good of one as anybody in the country. Their students are passionate. Coach Pearl does a tremendous job engaging their students and rallying their students and rallying their fans. And so, I mean, just look at I've had to tell family they can't come to the game because of the tickets are so hard to get. We don't even have enough tickets for our allotment of what we got. I mean, we've had to tell people they can't come. So it's just, it's just going to be one of those great college basketball environments.
It's kind of an obvious question, but you haven't faced two big guys at one time. These two, what kind of problems they pose?
Oh, they got a great front line, and they got 2 and 3 subs behind them. I mean, they're two subs. They're two, supposed backup bigs, where they're two starters last year. Cardwell 44 and Williams. I mean, those guys started for him last year. I'm watching film of them last year just cutting us up. Cardwell got on the offensive glass, and Williams slipped us on a ball screen for a layup. And, Kessler was 5-star McDonald's All-American, tremendous player, does a great job. He's one of the best defenders in the country, blocks a ton of shots, top 5 in the country in block shots, finishes well around the rim, does a great job in their ball screen stuff, and he gets out of ball screens as well as anybody in the country. And Jabari Smith, from what I've seen in college basketball, I hadn't seen a better, he's going to be a top pick in the draft from what I've looked at. He's tremendous talent, 6'10", shoots 45% from 3. They run a bunch of really good elbow ISO stuff for him, clear him out on the elbows, let him go to work. He's a phenomenal talent, phenomenal player, great kid, great family. So it's going to be a big challenge on that front line.
Just a quick update. You think Eason and Pinson are going to be good to go?
Yes.
Okay. And then I know you've harped a lot on defense.
You didn't listen to the radio show last night, did you, Glenn?
I must have missed it. Yes.
Huh?
I must have missed it.
If you'd have listened, you'd have known that.
That's all right.
We covered that in from the LSU mobile app on a couple of questions. We covered that.
I'll go back and give it a listen. You've mentioned really throughout the season how defensive rebounding has been a big focus for you guys this offseason, but this is going to be
Well, we've climbed into the 60s in defensive rebounding nationally, so that's better than we've been. But look, the last 2 times we've played them, we've given up 18 and 17 offensive rebounds. They've just bludgeoned us on the offensive glass. And so 2 years ago, Austin Wiley he just pinned his ears back. So, they're going to pin their ears back and go to the glass. Cambridge is an unbelievable athlete. We talked about the 2 other guys on the front line. K.D. Johnson gets some offensive rebounds. Alan Flanagan can get in there and get some rebounds. So, they're going to pin their ears back and try to bludgeon us on the glass. And so we're going to have to, to give ourselves an opportunity, we're going to have to value the ball. We can't go in there and cough the ball up a ton. We're going to have great transition defense, sprint back, stop the ball, cover the rim, find the shooters, and then we're going to have to rebound. If we don't do those 3 things, no shot. Might as well fire the plane back up and leave at halftime. No shot.
Do you feel like the last few days getting the rest for your players is very important?
Oh, we've been practicing. I don't know what we think we've been resting. We've been working.
What y'all been working on?
Everything. We spend the mornings working on our offense. We spend the afternoons practicing and working on defense, and we do some shooting in the morning before we work on our offense, and we do some film in between. So, full day around here.
I know you just kind of said y'all have been practicing, but a couple weeks ago you were saying it was nice to kind of get a break from basketball for a minute before the holidays. Can you just talk about getting the team
Well, it's
back
different because we
focused?
don't have class all day, so we were able to work on some things. Like we needed to fix Eric Gaines's feet on his jump shot, and so there's like Gaines is a good shooter. You don't shoot 85% from the free throw line if you're not a good shooter. It's because his body's in line, his feet are in line, everything's in line with the rim, and he makes all of them. Well, his threes, he's out of line, and so we needed some time. Like we just have had some time to go back and fix that and get. Golly, we got a bug everywhere, man. Got bugs in here, Kent. This is welcome to our home. This is what we have over here. You're not in the plush accommodations y'all are used to. We needed some time just to work individually with him. We haven't had time to work individually with him. And, we had a couple things we need to fix with a couple of our other guys' footwork, a couple things on some free throws with some guys. So it's just given us, we have more time in the day where they're not in class all day, and it's given us some time to go back and get that stuff right.
And could you just speak to, keeping them focused with the holidays and going into SEC play?
Oh, they're focused. They know what's at stake. They know what we're going into environment-wise. They, they're focused as we can be, and we'll just let our hair down and see what happens Wednesday night.
When you're fixing somebody and somebody's shot, is that something you chart or something you see on film? Because I know Eric missed like 16 threes in a row. So, I mean, something you chart or you see on film and you say.
We've known what the issue is. We just don't have the time and the reps to fix it, and we finally have the time and the reps to go back through and get it fixed how we need to. We've kind of tried to put Band-Aids on it and fix parts of it, but we finally had the time to go back and fix and work one-on-one and do what we need to do now that we have the entire day.
And with Darius, he's kind of let him work it out himself. Like he understands his shot. He understands.
Yeah, there's a footwork thing there we had to get corrected to. We got corrected before that Lipscomb game.
I know you don't like to look ahead, but I have to ask you, with the start of SEC play, kind of the gauntlet that you guys are going through, would you prefer to start off SEC play against these type of top-tier teams to know where you are?
Yeah, look, I tell everybody, look, anytime I've been doing this a while, no league schedule is perfect. You're either going to be backloaded, front-loaded. Like it's never just going to spread out how you want it to spread out. That's just not the way it works. So it just so happens, we got a lot of tough games here on the front end. That's just the way it works. It's not some conspiracy theory. It's not some, it is what it is. And so we've got to play the games as they're scheduled and focus on Auburn. And then after we get back from Auburn, we'll focus on next Tuesday. And after that, we'll focus on the next Saturday. And after that, we'll focus on next Tuesday or Wednesday, whoever the hell we play. So you've got to focus on what you got, and we'll play the games as they're scheduled. But every schedule's like that, where you'll have 3 or 4 games where you got 3 or 4 on the road and tough, whatever it may be. And so, you just got to play them, and we'll worry about Auburn, and then we'll get back from Auburn tomorrow night and worry about moving forward from there.
What exactly makes playing at Auburn so difficult and hard?
I think whoever designed it, they did an unbelievable job designing their arena and the way the students are placed, and just how close everybody is to the court. There's not a bad seat in the spot. They got passionate fans just like everybody in the SEC. They got great fans, and like I said, Coach Pearl's done an unbelievable job. He's done it everywhere he's been. You look back at Southern Indiana, Milwaukee, Tennessee. Like, he's just engaged the students. He's engaged the fan base, and they're all in and all bought in on everything that he does, and he gets them to turn out. I mean, you watch him play Murray State. They got, I guess they sold the student section tickets, but they got adults standing in the student section going crazy with their families and stuff. I mean, they've just got a really good culture about it. The way they go about it, it's impressive.
Coach Pearl's been in this league now for a couple of years. Just kind of
A couple years.
Well, I know, dating back to a long time ago, but I guess just how have you enjoyed those matchups? I mean, you guys have always played them pretty close, and it's been pretty competitive and fun.
Look,
games.
he's a hell of a coach. I mean, he's a great coach. I've spent a bunch of time with him. We've shared ideas before we got in the league together on different stuff. So I mean, he's a tremendous coach. He runs a tremendous system. One of his former guys worked for me when I was at Chattanooga, and so I kind of met him through him. But he does a great job. He's got a great staff. Steven, his son, and Coach Flanagan and Ira and all the they do a tremendous job in scouting. You're not going to catch them by surprise. They're going to have some new stuff for us. They're going to run their basic system, but have some wrinkles for us. They're going to have some stuff ready for the press. So I mean, they do a tremendous job. He's a great coach. He's got a great system. He's got great players. He's got a great staff.
Offensively, do you feel like not turning the ball over is going to be the most important key?
Number one, get a shot on the basket. We have to get a shot on the basket. We go in there and cough it up a bunch. It's going to be a long night.
With that in mind, what kind of asset is Xavier having, running this thing for you being in those battles before in those atmospheres?
It's huge. I mean, having him in days, they're going to have to get us off to a good start. I mean, those are the two guys that have been in this type of environment, that have been in this type of atmosphere. And, we got to count on them to be a steady hand. And I've said that about X the entire time. X is just steady. He's got a calming presence to him. He's got a calming influence about him. Shoot, he calms me down sometimes. And so, you need that when you go on the road in this league, and when you go on the road into the really tough environments in this league, you've got to have that. And there's no substitute for experience, and him and Days certainly have that.
You mentioned 70 points last night. Is that you think can get the job done tomorrow in a hostile
I didn't say it could
environment
get
like
it done. I said it'll give us a shot. I mean, look, UConn scored 100 and some odd on them, but had them beat in regulation at 70. St. Louis had a chance to beat them and scored 70. Nobody else has scored 70 on them. I mean, getting to 70 points in that place tomorrow is going to be a monumental task now. And then our defense is going to have to hold. Our defense and rebounding is going to have to hold. But 70 will give us a chance. But nobody scored 70 in that. I mean, St. Louis was away and UConn was on a neutral court. Nobody else has scored 70 on them. So just getting to 70 would give it that just gives us a puncher's chance. Anything less than 70, probably not good for the old Bengal Tigers.
Last week we saw Efton kind of step into a couple of transition threes there and look pretty comfortable taking those. I mean, is that a shot that you guys you want him to take more of? I guess now that SEC plays.
Well, he's going to get some open ones tomorrow when they're icing the ball screen. So no, I mean, we got to step up. And we got to make some. If you're going to beat their ice, you got to step up and make some shots. And so he's a good shooter. He works on it. Spends a bunch of time on it. His shot's a good looking shot. We're gonna need to make some as we get into SEC play. But I mean, it's bread's butter down on that block, and we gotta get down on that block and make sure we're working down there.
Any Sharif updates? Yes, no.
What would a press conference be without that question?
Well, why not? I mean, if Sheldon wasn't going to ask it, I was going to ask it. I mean, you get into conference play, you're just kind of wondering what was going on with
He's been practicing. Now, he can't do the full practice yet, but he's been practicing. He's progressing, and we're hopeful. He looks good. Now he's got to get his conditioning up. He's got to be able to go for a full, but he's been doing some individual workouts, and he's been able to make it through. We have to, he can do one part of practice, sit the next, one part of practice, sit the next. But he's been good. He's been playing Jabari Smith for us the last couple of days, so he's enjoyed that.
This is kind of an off-kilter question, but what about like a young guy like Justice Williams being able to kind of sit on the bench and watch?
Not as off kilter as you think, Glenn.
Oh, really?
No.
Why is that?
Not as off kilter as you think. I mean, Justice is learning. He's getting better. He's learning. He's really picked things up, and he's somebody that could step in and help us. Somebody can step in and help us. He's a really, really good player. He's got great pace to his game. He's figuring it out, and that he's fully healthy. He's done a really, really nice job for us. Good question, Glenn.
Xavier was a lot more aggressive offensively in y'all's last ball game. Were you expecting him to kind of stay at that pace for you?
Heck yeah, we need him to be. You know, he's shooting the last 5 games. He's shooting 42-4 from 3. You know, teams have been trying to go under ball screens and stuff like that. He's shooting 42-4 from 3 when they've gone under. So yeah, we need him to be aggressive. He's done a great job getting other guys involved. Now we need him to get other guys involved and be aggressive. And I've spoken with him about that. We've spoken about that, and I think he knows what he needs to do and understands, you know, what he's got going on.
When you see Bruce,
It's a press conference that'll never end. Golly. No, I love answering y'all's questions. What else we want to talk about? When you see Bruce Pearl.
yeah, I'm just curious. When you see a guy that coaches,
It's like it's been over 10 times, and we're asking injury updates and Justice Williams. And
this is my last one. When you see a guy that coaches that hard, and the kids are receptive to it, is that kind of refreshing that you guys can still coach that hard in this generation?
Oh,
and they're receptive to it?
he has. Well, you got to have. Listen, you can coach them hard if you love them hard. If you don't love them hard and spend time with them, it's in one ear and out the other. I don't want to speak for Coach, but I know he does too. Like, he spends an inordinate amount of time with those players. I spend an inordinate amount of time off the court with our players. That's why it works. It don't work if you don't do that. And so you got to coach them hard. You got to love them hard. I tell them all that in recruiting. You know, look, I'm gonna be there for you off the court. We're going to talk about. We'll do whatever we need to do off the court. When we step between those lines, it's a different world now. It's a different world. And you know, I've got a job to do. You got a job to do, and we're all going to do it. And we're all going to do it at a high level. We're not going to cut any corners. I mean, look, he's a great coach. He's been doing it a long time. We talked the other day. He was talking about how 61 years old and been doing, you know, he was kind of pontificating about everything, but about NIL and just everything that was going on. But you know, look, he's got a great system. He's done it his way, but he spends a lot of time with those kids. You know, I had a kid, Samir, who played for me at VCU, who transferred to him, and I kind of course, Samir scored 25 on us last time we went down there, but I kind of told Coach to take, you know, we had talked about it a lot, and Samir loved him, loved playing for him, and loved the time, and Samir graduated from Auburn, which is phenomenal, kid from Southwest Philadelphia. But look, he does a great job, you know, taking care of those guys and making sure that they know how much he cares for them off the court. And that's why he's able to coach them, and they know it comes from a winning. You know, he wants to win, and he wants to put them in position to win, and he wants them to be successful, and that's why he's had a lot of success. We done?